Hi, I'm Tori Purcell, and I'm here with Mr. Smith to talk a little bit about the Keystones. Hi, how are you?
Good morning, great. How are you?
I'm great. So when are the retakes happening?
Retakes are happening, I believe we're starting on January 7th. 5th? Yeah, we're starting on January 7th and are going to be for 6 days. We're going to be testing in the morning, we're going to have school as usual, and we're going to section off a part of the second floor to use that area for testing rooms.
Okay. So who has to take them?
This round, we're going to be focusing on our retested students. So it's going to be a number of juniors will be retesting in literature, biology, and algebra. And then we have a few more of our underclassmen in our 10th graders that are going to be retesting in algebra.
Okay. So what is being offered for the students who did not pass?
So for the students that did not pass, that's sort of a two-pronged kind of question. For students that don't pass that are currently in 9th and 10th grade, they're required to remediate. It's a state requirement, so they have to take a remediation course. So they're taking a semester-long 18-week remediation course, and they'll test at the end of that course. For our juniors, since there was no graduation requirement attached to it, it simply has a huge impact on our school performance profile. But for our juniors, what we're offering is, they're in literature, for example, everything that's tested at the end of 10th grade, you're still working on through 11th grade. In math, it's sort of the same thing. So what we're doing for juniors is we're offering some extra help with biology, because when you're a sophomore, you're taking biology and you go to chemistry, and it's significantly different. Mm-hmm. So we're offering a program called Study Island. It's web-based. Mm-hmm. We've made time available after school on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the library. We've pulled some targeted students out of PE classes, so students that are within a certain range that we think with a little bump they could be proficient. But Study Island's available to any junior, anytime, anywhere, because it's web-based. So that's sort of how we have to split it up.
Okay. So what significance do the Keystones have?
Well, they're very significant for the school. I'm not a big, we measure students or a school by strictly numbers, but in the state of Pennsylvania, that's where we are now. Mm-hmm. And so the performance on Keystone Exams count for about 80% of the school performance profile. The school performance profile includes graduation rate and includes attendance, but a significant portion of it is the performance on the exams and then the improvement the students have shown, or the growth that students have shown by taking the exams.
Okay. So what was the school's score on last year's Keystones?
Last year's Keystones, the state sets up targets, and so so our current seniors, so that's the SPP numbers that they used for this, the one that was just released. Our SPP went down about 2.5%. Mm-hmm. So we hit our target in biology, and we did not hit our target in algebra or literature. Mm-hmm. So so that's one group of students. Now we're focusing on our current juniors, and we have a little bit of work to do. But it's not a lot of hard work, because we had a significant number of students that missed proficiency by 1 to 3 questions. Mm-hmm. If that group of students would make proficiency, 1 to 3 questions, we would hit all of our targets. That's why it's so important for our juniors to really give this next round of testing, to give it their best effort.
Okay. So I know you mentioned that there's classes that the students can attend. Mm-hmm. Why is it important that the students attend these?
Well, for the juniors, it's important because these classes, or this extra help, is really focused on biology, mm-hmm. and because biology is so much different than chemistry. And like I had said before, if you're always using Algebra 1 concepts in your mathematics classes, even if you're in calculus, you're always using literary skills no matter what English course that you're taking. So this time after school and the work on Study Island is critical for the biology part of this. And then also the time that we've selected to pull some students out of PE and have them work specifically on biology.
Okay. So how will these sessions help improve scores?
Well, we had significant improvement a couple years ago with our PSSA. So we went from hitting about 17 out of 30 targets to hitting 28 out of 30 targets. And one of our interventions was Study Island. So that was the PSSA test. So then we switched to the Keystone. So it took a little while for Study Island to make the shift. And now Study Island is a great tool or a great resource for Keystones. It was proven successful for us a couple years ago. So that's what we base it on. We hope that with some effort, some time, it's going to give students that little extra bump that they're going to need to make them proficient.
And will this affect students who don't pass? And if so, how will it affect them?
Well, the students that don't pass that are current sophomores and freshmen, it's really bad news because you don't graduate.
Right.
So graduation isn't just 25 credits anymore. We're sort of coming up with the slogan of 25 plus 3 equals graduation. Now, our current sophomores and freshmen need 25 credits and pass 3 Keystones in order to get your diploma. For our juniors, it's strictly the school performance profile. This is a number that colleges and universities look at to judge and gauge what type of high school we are. So if student A applies and they have a 4.2 and they do 6 clubs and activities, and student B applies and they have a 4.2 in clubs and activities, and one's from our school with this SPP of 61, and one's from another school with an SPP of 85, that's all that college or university has to go by. So it goes back to the numbers. I don't believe it's fair to judge us by numbers alone, but unfortunately, that's how it's set up now in the state of Pennsylvania. Right. So it's critical that we improve our school performance profile.
Right. So will this bring up the district's percentage if a lot of students can pass their Keystones?
Absolutely. And it's not necessarily even pass, it's just improve. The state sets targets for each individual student as well. And if you can hit your target, then you get extra credit for that. And your target may not be passing. You may need to, your target may be a 1420, and passing is 1500. And if you make a 1430, although you won't get credit for being proficient, you will get credit for being meeting your target, and that's 40% of the school performance profile. So even just hitting the students' individual targets will bump up our SPP.
Okay. So how many retakes can you take if you fail?
Well, if you start taking them your freshman year, so you would take them in May of your freshman year, you could possibly take them twice your sophomore year and twice your junior year. But for our underclassmen, you will take them at the end of the remediation course. So you'll remediate for 18 weeks and then you'll take it. And so that's sort of how we have it set up. Because I'm not sure sitting someone down and taking 5 of these is the best scenario. I think people get worn out. Stamina is a really big deal to sit down and stay focused on these exams, and it's something that we've enhanced in the school because we brought back midterms and finals a couple years ago. So now we've had the practice, but I think there's a limit to how many of these you should make a student actually sit down and sort of struggle through.
So for the current juniors and seniors, do they have privileges to pass?
Sure. So current seniors that passed, scored proficient, or advanced on all 3, they don't have to take any senior final exams. Okay. So that's true for our juniors, and even true for retesters. So if you retest and you score proficient or advanced in algebra, literature, and biology, you don't take any of your senior finals. If you only score proficient in literature, then you don't take your English final. If you only score proficient in biology, you don't take your science final. But if you score proficient in all 3, you're excused from all of your finals.
Okay. So for the upcoming tests in the spring, will there be any after-school help to help prepare for the students for this?
Yes. So we've put a little push on right now for our juniors, but we're going to put a very large push on starting in March. We've started to make some connections with our community because we found that we really need to educate our community about the significance and importance of these exams. If our school is going to be judged by it, and if graduation relies upon it, then we need to make people aware of what these tests really are.
Right. Thank you so much for joining me.
Not a problem. It was a pleasure.
I'm Tori Purcell, and I was here with Mr. Smith to talk a little bit about the Keystones. Now back to the Eagle's Eye.